So you got the pages okay? They're in good condition and everything.
Yeah, I mean, they're they're readable. They're in kind of an interesting condition. They're intact. They've got. It looks as if this volume that was bound, possibly somehow, even if loosely. You know, when someone will kind of, start to burn something and then decide against it, or only burn part of it, or this was burned only partially, but like in the middle of, like along the where the spine would be. So the pages have this kind of interesting, this bloom kind of, along that inside edge. It seems like at some point some sort of liquid was spilled on it. Something kind of sticky and sweet. And so not only, do they have this kind of char, this ragged char on one end, they have kind of this strange leathery feel, but they are readable.
Well, yeah, I guess the guy from Yale did tell me that a lot of things had happened to the pages since the incident. I just wasn't sure. He really went out of his way to make this available. I didn't want to ask too many questions. Really, it's still to this day, all I really know is that John Blatt was a farmer, right? And what was the town? Copac? Copac was the name of the town in Missouri where he lived?
Yes, Copac.
I know that he was very educated, that he had like a diploma in from Duke. What do you remember what his diploma was in from?
Oh, it was something quite erudite. I want to
condensed matter physics.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And so he left. And then after Duke, he decided he didn't want any part of that life, I guess. And so he went to Missouri and bought that farm, and then was there for 12, 13 years, and then the incident, and that's really all I knew. But when when it became apparent that we could actually access the diary, it was kind of amazing. So it was kind of a rush thing, but I'm glad it made it. Can you read me the passages can you just read them to me over the phone? Do you want to try that, or?
Sure. I'll,
I guess just the month leading up to the incident is what, and then.
Yeah, that really seems to be where things caught fire, so to speak.
Yeah, if the writing is legible, just go ahead and read it to me. However he wrote it originally.
All right, let me get.
Does it have his name in there anywhere? John Blatt, does he identify himself in the diary? Does he sign it, or is it just...
No.
All right.
No. Not that I saw. As I'm reading, I'll look again. There are some kind of scribbles in the margins and strange doodles. Okay. Here we're starting with I guess we'll just start with October 1st. The field has a strange smell this year. They say the weather's changing everywhere. Temperatures all over the earth. I'm not sure what to make of it, but sure, I've seen things change. But that's something obvious to say, I guess, and probably means nothing. I wish I had seen more years ago. Patterns of the moon, the way the well water and pipes seemed to get harder, get tinny, the way the pumpkins bloom reeked like flesh and corn stalks withered above those in their own lanky deaths. How the weird quiet insular, round-faced families from the north cart the apples down in their blush and their green. I just didn't, I guess. See, I wasn't in a place to put it together. I can't change that now, but I see the road now. I can go from here. I started cleaning some brush around the hole, some dead stones. A circle is forming. Tonight, I'll light the fire for the first time. October 4th is the next entry. Someone said you can be walking and falling at the same time. I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if I want to. But I'm trying. I don't understand the world.
Let me ask you, I forget, was he out there alone on the farm?
Most of the years he was there alone until about, it's difficult to tell, but possibly 9 or 10 months before the incident. There was someone there with him.
What did he grow? What?
Oh, he did. He grew mostly corn, and he kept some chickens. Nothing. The operation wasn't too large. He had some vegetables growing in a smaller patch of land, but he would just, he had enough to go to the farmers markets and sell things there. It was especially for the area. There's a lot of agriculture there, but his operation was fairly modest.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let's see. So that was October 4th. Okay, moving on. October 7th. It's starting. I feel it. This year I'll get it right. There's nothing left for me. October 8th. I don't know when the hole appeared. Some years back, there were strange sounds coming from the direction of the quarry, strange mists that seemed to hang in the morning longer than they should, if they had sunk from the tall trees. They crept along the ground like beasts. I think it had been raining, and some mud had given and slid away. I don't know. It seemed like an opening to an old cave. And then things started going missing. Animals, men. It ate. It dragged them back. It will just want more and more. And our town's so small. Even if it is just once a year, harvest moon turns to hunter's moon. We can't afford to lose much more. So I'll feed it. I'll take on the job. I don't know who will read this, if they ever do. I can't imagine that now. It's not for them anyway. This is for my spinning mind.
Was there, what he wrote there about animals going missing and men, was there any evidence of that in the town? Was that's a very, that sentence, were things actually going missing at that time?
Yeah, actually, it appears, yes, they were. I don't have a detailed breakdown statewide, but I did look some things up. And according to the Missouri Department of Agriculture, there were about 350 reported agricultural crimes related to livestock in 2011 alone. and that's a significant number. The county where Copac is, which is called Copac County, there were 76 reports of that nature from August to November 2011 alone, as well. And then there were 3 locals who were reported as missing between those months that year. So, yes, it certainly seems like something unusual was going on.
Yeah, there were only like 400 people in that town, as I recall. So that's
Yes.
okay. All right. Well, yeah, go on.
Okay. October 10th. She left in the early morning. I heard, but I didn't. Do you know what I mean? I could have gone after, begged, but I wouldn't. I think she knew that. I'm tired now, I guess. It takes energy to stay alive. I'm not sure I want to anymore. October 11th. She didn't understand about the field, about the hole in the field, about the thing in the hole in the field, about my place in it. Feed. She tried to get me to leave, but leaving isn't really leaving. Even if I did, I think it would follow me, and I'm not ready to think about that chance. October 14. I'm experiencing a weird effect. Whenever I go out, which hasn't been much, but lately I have gone out to procure things for it. When I return, my little house looks more and more alien to me. Smaller, more smashed. I'm starting to barely recognize it. What if every time I come home, I recognize it less and less? Does it feel that way when it comes up for air? Is that how she felt when she opened the door and ran?
So that was October 14th, so it was getting kind of close to the incident.
We're kind of at the halfway point here.
Yeah, I don't know if there was anything in the diary before that kind of hinted at some kind of mental instability with him, and like when this started. Is there any? Well, you haven't had a chance to really get into it, I know, but does it, just from the number of pages that precede this, does it look like it's worth reading the entire thing to see if maybe he was exhibiting signs of, I don't know, something?
Well, from what I can tell, he really only started keeping the diary a very short time before October, and before that, no, there's nothing to indicate either way. We mostly just have these pages and his references to previous years, which are vague at best. Okay, so yes, October 15th. The hole looks like a roof caved in. October 16th. I've laid the items out around the hole, the mouth, or should I say I've started to. There will be a series of nights, and at dusk on each day, when there is still some light for my human eyes, I'll go to the edge of the field, past the copse of trees, where each tornado season a storm touches down. First there are the eggs, sticks, then the bones and the still soft bodies of birds, then some meat, then some bigger things. October 19th. I remember sitting outside with her, drinking a beer, waving away the gnats. I remember her hair in that gold light that fades and goes down. Her hair was this indiscernible color, or rather it was all colors at once and seemed to change. It was never the same. Chameleon hair, she called it. She said she read it in a book. October 23rd. I guess I didn't realize, before all this started happening, before it took shape before me, the depth of the love that I hold for my town. I never before had seen myself as its shepherd or protector. I'd never seen myself in that role for anyone, for anything, save maybe the farm or the hens or my loyal, tangled dogs. But in the last years, in the unclear frame of time or space when it got out and found its crop, and it was horror and blood and invisible invisible fear, I fell into place. I fit. I thought it came out at night, but I'm guessing. None of us know what it does or did. Hell, it could have been in the morning for all I know, or the middle of the day, when the sun is straight above like a bare bulb. It's not like we're looking anymore, seeing. Maybe we're just seeing less, leaning on the light, especially me. I want to say that I won't make that mistake ever again, trusting that sun, the day, blinding lunch. But I'm not sure I should promise that. I'm not sure I won't. Point is, for all I know, maybe it just crawled out in plain sight and went right up to our sheep, our cats, and took what it wanted. Took that family down. And nobody, especially not me, was watching.
And I'm wondering about the her that he keeps referring to. I don't. Who was this her?
There was a woman he had started seeing. Her name was Opal Granger. He'd met her at the farmer's market. She worked at a cidery nearby. And, it's difficult to tell when she exactly moved in because she was spending a lot of time with him and spending a lot of time at the farm and helping him and then just kind of eventually moved in with him for all intents and purposes. And from what I can tell from other people's accounts, it seemed as if things were going well, or the consensus seemed to be that she would be good for him, that she was good for him. But whenever what happened, and she left, she actually left the entire area when she left him, and no one knows where she went.
That's really strange considering, the magnitude of what he did, that she was able to kind of slip away.
Okay, October 30th. Last night I slept badly. I looked out the window and thought from the harder light and color and position of the moon that it must be almost dawn. I think it was out there. I don't know why, and I don't know what I saw, and I don't know where it was, or if it was there at all. But I even thought I could smell it, the paste and spore, the green tongue, like metal, like the niter from its home. In the morning I checked. It ate the things I brought, but it wasn't enough because there was blood everywhere, signs of pain. I think I saw teeth in a row in the grass, pink, blue, the reek of crows. This is something in my life, something I can now see. Follow your heart, they tell you. Follow your gut. If you listen hard enough, you'll know what to do. I knew before, I guess, but I wasn't ready to live my life believing it, believing in my heart. And I was ashamed of that. Because at the end of the day, it really is just about your steam for living. I knew I was losing it, and I wanted it back. I'm so stupid. I'm a goddamn joke. I won't dwell on my failures anymore. Tonight it will come with its scream and its quick, its hide and claws. I have two choices now, and they're both low. And that's where it ends.
So the next day he went into town and he did what he did, right?
Yes.
You know, you and I both have an experience with how strange things affect these small towns, but I'm trying to think if there was ever any other case where an entire town, essentially in the aftermath of something, essentially just sort of dried up and blew away. There is no, and the population of Kopak today, I looked it up, is only about 140 since the disaster there that he caused. I mean, do you know of any other case like that? The town just seemed to not be able to deal with what he did.
Well, I mean, I guess the only comparisons I can think of are towns that are sort of raised in wars or by great storms. But no, not like that. Not like what he did.
She said that's the end of the diary. There's nothing after that page.
That's all. That's all that I have. There are some quotes that were written on, it's a page after, several pages after, it's like he wanted to leave some space, but they're not words of his. They're quotes from books.
But they're in his handwriting?
They are, and they're all about October. He writes, "First of all, it was October, a rare month for boys. Not that all months aren't rare, but one strange, wild, dark, long year. Halloween came early." That was Ray Bradbury, he cites. And I was going home in October. Everybody goes home in October. Jack Kerouac. And I'm so glad I live in a world where there are Octobers. From L.M. Montgomery.
So these appear several pages after the end of the diary, you said?
Yes.
So it's possible that in the hours after he wrote the last diary entry and the time he went into town, that he may have added these quotes, and then those were his last sort of coherent thoughts.
I'd considered them maybe afterthoughts or part of the last few passages, but I hadn't. You're completely right. There is a feeling about them. It's a complete. Not only is it a turn of the page, but it's a real turn of the page. It's a step back, and it's a. It's almost a. It's almost an attempt to look for reason or beauty in what happened. I read something once about in sort of old European pagan culture. They believed that, well, there are many different beliefs, but one of them that I found particularly interesting was that the spirit of the corn, right, lived amongst the crop, amongst the corn, and then when harvest came and all of that was reaped, it made the spirit, it destroyed its home, basically. And so this kind of loosed the spirit to just kind of float about, wander the area, lost. Harvest is known for, or used to be, this time when the whole community joined in the reaping of the crops, and everyone, would have a specific job. And I feel like I can only piece together so much from these writings of John Blatt about his mindset leading up to the incident. Like what his motivation or rationalization was, really. But I think it was part of a sort of kind of ripped and broken way to return to that. I think where this writing stops is where the rest of that night began. And it's been somewhat impossible to map a sequence of events for that night. But I just imagine he must have moved quickly and decisively once he arrived in that place. But the question of how he, like just one man, was able to kill so many people and in such a way is still unanswered. Questions like, did he act alone? Did he have some kind of help? Or was he able to somehow lead the thing he writes about, it, right into the middle of town? There were signs of this last idea. There were torches placed at certain spots along the road. But I'm not sure we'll ever really be able to figure that night out.